Steve Forbes, the Forbes Media chairman, editor-in-chief with us right now. Steve, his basic message was, forget about reliving the Carter years. Potentially, we could have something worse than the Carter years. What do you think of that?
Yeah, Ken Langone is absolutely right about the lost year. It's one thing about supply chains. Yes, they were disrupted. There are two kinds of inflation. One is monetary inflation. The other is non-monetary inflation. And the non-monetary came out of the COVID lockdowns. But this administration's made the recovery from that worse, not better, starting with energy. And the 77 executive orders this guy's passed, President Biden's passed, that's added $200 billion in regulatory costs. So they've made a bad situation worse and recovery slower from that. Then you have the Federal Reserve creating mounds of money. Government was Biden wanted to spend more money. He did. And the Federal Reserve monetized that by buying all those bonds. So we've got a time bomb coming with that. They have $1.7 trillion that they borrow each night from banks, hoping that doesn't flood into the economy, money they created out of thin air. That's going to hit the economy soon enough. So in terms of the blame, all they have to do is look in the mirror. They took a situation that was beginning to heal itself and made it infinitely worse.
All right, well, there goes my lunch. Steve, you know, Republicans are not without some responsibility here. I believe a lot of that big spending, and even pre-COVID, started on President Trump as well. So if there was a lot of excessive spending, it was going on there as well. I understand what you're saying now after the fact of the pile-on here, but I do find a little suspect for Republicans to gather around and say, look, we're the party of fiscal austerity. Again, like me saying I'm the president of the National Fitness Program. Methinks not. Your thoughts?
In my eyes, you are, given my condition. So
no, but all I'm saying is, I mean, each party does this. I get it, and the deficits pile up, the debt piles up, the spending piles up. I'm just wondering if in this case, you know, it's one thing for President Biden to say, I can't be blamed for all of this. I agree with you. He should be taking responsibility for some of it, but Republicans too, no?
Yeah, they did some spending, and they share part of the blame for it. The Federal Reserve, though, started to knock down the dollar back in 2018, 2019. So they're starting to misbehave even before, and the Federal Reserve is supposed to be independent.
Do you think the Federal Reserve is overdoing it now, Steve, that you know, this kind of thing is going to make things worse?
Yeah, that's a real danger.
Right.
They should not be setting interest rates. They should let the market set interest rates. Already, you've seen the mortgage market in anticipation go from 2.5% 30-year mortgage to 5%. And when people have those resets later this year and their floating mortgage rates, watch out. So the Federal Reserve does not know how to fight inflation. They think you do it by depressing the economy. They say, oh, have a soft landing. Usually it's a crash landing.
So you're against the plan now to likely hike rates pretty aggressive. I think they're looking for a half-point hike in the May meeting, I think another half-point in the June meeting. Are they overdoing it? Not enough? What do you think?
They're doing it the wrong way. What they should do is put a ceiling on short-term rates and let the markets set the rates. What they're doing now is the equivalent of rent controls, trying to control the price of money. They never get it right. The question is, how much damage are they going to do? So the Federal Reserve should be reducing its balance sheet.
When he was, you know, changing interest rates, hiking them at one point at a time, it worked for him. It was gruesome, but by the time he came in, we'd had 12 years of ever worsening inflation, and he felt, okay, we have to do drastic measures now, and so we went into a recession, 10.5%, 11% unemployment. We don't have to do that here. Right. The quicker the Fed acts, the less the disruptions. But the longer they delay, like they did last year, when Powell wanted to be reappointed and going to the dictates of the White House, we now have, as they say, a fine mess. All right. Well, I'm too young to remember that late 70s, early 80s experiment. Steve, always great talking to you. And I enjoyed talking to you back then, enjoyed talking to all these decades later. Steve Forbes.